Welcome to the Dorm Room Audiophile, the YouTube show where I unbox two packages of CDs in two different videos that are about 10 minutes long each, and then forget that my fan is on, so I go back to listen to them, and the videos are unwatchable. So I had a lot of fun doing that, and I like all of these albums that I got in the mail. This is a CD unboxing, you see. Or not even an unboxing anymore. It's technically just a CD looking at, because the unboxing part already happened, and now they're just a bunch of CDs on my bed. There's no order to these. These are two different online orders that I got today, and I want to talk about them to the people on my phone instead of just listening to them, because that makes sense. Let's start off here with The Madcap Laughs by Syd Barret. Syd Barrett's awesome. Not a hot take, I know. A lot of people love Syd Barret. But Syd Barret is weird because, like, you can listen to these songs and it goes from being very whimsical to very tragic. But they're both whimsical and tragic in a way that you can't quite put into words. And there's something really magical about it, to me. Let's see. Let's talk about... So I... As a teenager, as an early teenager, you know, reading all these Rolling Stones lists, reading all these greatest albums of all time lists, I never really got why the Rolling Stones were there, right? Like, they're fine and they're cool, and I respect them for what they were doing, but it was like, okay, these are just good albums. They're not that crazy. But then I sat down and, like, gave Let It Bleed, Sticky Fingers, and Exile on Main Street as a 3-album run a listen, and it's fucking astonishing how much music they were able to squeeze out, how much good music. Also, in those 3 albums, there are like 4 songs that I can take it or leave. And that's saying something, because this is a double album. It's fucking incredible. Great stuff. Very glad to have this. That's basically all of the Stones I think I need, unless I can find stuff cheap that I don't have. Let's see. We can do this next. Louis Armstrong, Satch Plays Fats, with the hype sticker. This was like $1.50. You can't fucking beat that, dude. Louis Armstrong's another one like Syd Barret, although I guess less in a less esoteric sense. He had a really great grasp on tone. And like, you listen to this album and it'll go from a very sexual song to a very silly song to a very tragic song. And it all works because he has such a concrete love of music and of art, and I guess in this case, love for Fats Waller. There's also like 10 fucking bonus tracks. You're not going to be able to see that. There's like 10 bonus songs on this CD. It was ridiculous deal. Blind Gary Davis. We're going to do 2 blues albums next. This is Harlem Street Singer by Blind Gary Davis, also known as the Good Reverend Gary Davis. This is an all-timer blues album for me. I was very happy to find this, especially for what I paid for it. It's original blues classics, so it's probably going to be mixed, or I guess remixed pretty well. I don't know much about Phil DeLancey's digital remastering off the top of my head, but, you know, should be good stuff. And Gary Davis is remarkable to me because a lot of these songs are originals, and he has a very interesting way of writing about God. Like, he was a very pious religious man, but it's not always pretty, and I think that is very sobering to hear, and that's why a lot of these songs they don't get covered much. You know, you're not going to hear "Death Don't Have No Mercy" all the time. Speaking of blues, I don't know much about the old Mississippi John Hurt here, but I decided to pick this up because it was like $1.50, and if I can find any complete session of a blues musician that I don't know about for like $1.50, I'm going to do that. I did listen to Nobody's Dirty Business, and I thought that was a phenomenal song, so I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. I just don't know much about it yet. Let's see. Another classic that I was somehow missing. I think I have this on vinyl somewhere, but the fucking... When you see a $2 copy of Revolver, you're like, sure, I'm going to buy a $2 copy of Revolver. Because even if this isn't like the best sounding version of it or whatever, you know, I probably will want it in mono at some point, you know, stuff like that. This is so easy to just give to somebody, especially somebody who doesn't already have it in any way. Like, one of the joys of CDs to me, I'm going to talk about this as I get the next album. One of the joys of CDs to me is that it's very easy to give them to people. Like, with records, it's a bit of a, it's a bit more of a cost if you give a friend a record, Speaking of giving this away, I got a copy of the Basement Tapes, Bob Dylan, the band, I Shall Be Released, all that stuff. Is that on here? I don't think it's actually on here, but I plan on getting, pretty soon actually, the Bob Dylan Basement Tapes box set, like the complete thing, because I really like listening to it early in the morning. Like, I like waking up and having it on shuffle. But I wanted to get this now because I want to have the original album, and once I get that box set, I can pass this along. Bob Dylan and the Basement Tapes, it's kind of everything I like about music in one album, because it is very much rooted in compassion for your fellow man, in the sense that Bob Dylan and the band are sitting around and drinking and like playing the accordion with a gritty reel-to-reel player, and it doesn't need to sound the best for the emotion to come through, and I think that's really quite special. Okay, last album before we go dive deep into the jazz stuff, because this is mostly a jazz pickup. The way I go about buying music online, especially on like Discogs, especially for CDs, because about their shipping stuff. Once the shipping is cheap, you can get a lot of stuff for a really good price. I have like 2 or 3 albums that I look for, and if a seller has them and I see they have some other stuff, I try and give it a go. This is the Eraserhead soundtrack. This is the original CD pressing by IRS, and I've been looking for this for a while. The Eraserhead soundtrack is funny because it's not even like the soundtrack as much as it is just audio from the movie, because there's not much talking in the movie. It's like 40 minutes of the movie on a CD, and it's panic attack inducing, and it's hideous, and it's beautiful, which is how all things should be. Most of this is going to be jazz. The rest of this is going to be jazz, as a matter of fact. Another album that I was specifically looking for through these websites, and it was this album that I picked up and saw that this guy had like a bunch of other really well-priced jazz stuff that I hadn't already grabbed. Rahsaan Roland Kirk, Blackness. Rahsaan Roland Kirk, my opinion, the best of his craft. Might be my favorite jazz player of all time. I buy anything Rahsaan Roland Kirk I don't already have, and that is because there's such a love for life and a love for music and an unabashed pride in black classical music, as Mr. Roland Kirk would refer to it, as an art form through all of this. Like, you listen to these live recordings where there's banter, and you listen to these studio recordings, and there's such a love for the musicians he's playing with and a love for life. And you can't hear the stuff that he can do on any album. You have to look for these albums, and I think it's worth doing because he was legitimately a master of his craft. Another master of his craft, Thelonous Monk. Regrettably, I have not heard this album, but I knew that I needed to. It just felt like one of those ones that you need to pick up, and it was only $2. So pick it up, listen to it for the first time. Maybe I'll make a video about it. I don't know anymore. This is embarrassing that I didn't already have this. On the Corner by Miles Davis. Come the fuck on. It's On the Corner by Miles Davis. I think you're going to see very quickly that I think I'm a John Coltrane person over Miles Davis. If you made me pick one, I know which artist I would choose. But this is not to say that Miles Davis is not a fantastic player. I think the fact that he has so many distinct periods, so many distinct albums, and 90% of them are worth listening to, not many artists can say that. Let's listen to this stuff with Charlie Parker. It's great. Let's listen to this kind of blues stuff. It's great. You even go back in the middle, listen to the relaxing cooking. Those are great. In a Silent Way is great. Bitches Brew is great. On the Corner era is great. And it's just, they're all different too. That's somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. And that is worth respecting. I'm not going to put these in any sort of chronological order. I don't know what the chronological order for them would be, but I got 5 or 6 of these John Coltrane Impulse Digipacks. I've already listened to Birdland, and I can say that it sounds fantastic. Spoiler alert, Birdland's in the stack. But Ballads is first. The fact that I didn't have this was really bothering me. I already have like 8 or 9 Coltrane albums, but this one's, it's Coltrane Ballads. There's nothing I can tell you about this album that you don't already know, I would presume. And if you don't already know, I'm here to let you know. You know what you know. Coltrane Live at Birdland, maybe the best jazz album of all time. I don't think it has a second that is put to waste. And that's crazy because it's a live album, right? I know there are some studio tracks here. I think there's some studio tracks here. I don't know what the vibe is on that, but I know that it's like every song here is so good. And Alabama makes you cry, and Afro Blue kind of makes you cry. I Want to Talk About You and The Promise and Your Lady, they're very romantic songs. It's just, it's perfect, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm very glad that I got a copy of it. Impressions, John Coltrane. Admittedly, don't know this that much about this, but because the Digipack was kind of beat up, it wasn't very expensive, and if it's, John Coltrane free jazz, I'm probably gonna love it because I am a John Coltrane free jazz nut, as you'll see with Ascension. Despite the reputation that I've come to the realization that this album has, a lot of people will tell you that it's the greatest album ever made, that a lot of people will tell you that the album is horrible and that you shouldn't listen to it. It's somewhere in between. Shockingly, it's neither the greatest album ever made or the worst thing that you can listen to. I like it a lot. I think there are a lot of interesting elements to it, but it's a very much you like it or you don't, and I respect that. But, I have both Ascensions, disc 1 and 2, on one nice handy-dandy CD that's probably going to sound good. And finally, one of the ones I'm most excited about is Meditations. This is a great album to study to. Like I've said, finals are coming up, and I've been listening to a lot of jazz to study. This is a very nice album to get you there. Very happy to have it. Very happy to have all of these, to be honest, especially for how much I paid, which was very reasonable. But my favorite pickup, besides maybe the Eraserhead and maybe the Louis Armstrong, Karma, Pharoah Sanders. Regrettably, not an album that I had heard before in full. I got about 5 or 6 minutes into this album, and I was like, this is something I need to set aside and have a day for. And I still stand by that. I have not listened to it yet, but I know it's going to knock my socks off when I do, because I've already heard a lot of other Pharoah Sanders stuff, and that stuff's already knocked my socks off. Let's see, it comes with a booklet. Yep. That's the CD haul. And I'm very happy to have all of those. I'm going to add them to the drawer down there where I put all my jazz music. What have you guys been buying? Have you been buying anything? Are there any you guys? What's your favorite album I bought? What's your least favorite album I bought? Do you hate me? Should I shut the fuck up? Thanks for watching or not watching, and have a great day. Whoa.